Kamakshi, can I just go on for a few more minutes?
Yes, definitely. You can
Right.
take.
Guys, I'm just going to skim through these topics. These are like really big topics, but I want you all to know these terms at the end of our session, right? IEP, Individualized Education Program. So the moment you have a child who's diagnosed with a condition, we advise the parents and the stakeholders to write a IEP for the child, right? This is going to have a full-on plan of what are we going to do with the child, who's going to teach, how is going to teach, how are they going to teach, how are we going to assess them, what are their accommodations and modifications, and things like that, right? So the purpose is to achieve the goal. And how can we all achieve it together for the betterment of the child? So it's going to have the students' information, all the basic. Then, of course, we are going to have the present level, right? That is very, very important. So for example, let's say the reader or the child is able to identify the English alphabets phonemes at 35% accuracy. So like all the 26 letters, each of those letters, only 35% accuracy of being able to say like that. So our target is going to be achieving above 75%, 80%, 90%. So in that year, you try to achieve that. So it's very goal oriented. And they have to be smart. They have to be measurable. You can't say 100% of achievement. Like, it may not be realistic, right? You will have to indicate any specific services that they're going to get, who are involved, is a speech therapist involved, all that. What are the accommodations and modifications? Are they going to have a writer? Are they going to have a reader? Are they going to have additional time? Are we going to change or modify the text for them, the textbook or the curriculum for them? All that is going to be indicated. And everybody who's working with the child will be following the IEP as well. There is going to be a transition plan if you all are working with adult children as to what happens after all this. Assessment, how are they going to be assessed? How often are they going to be assessed? Are they going to get the same paper everybody's getting? Why I'm sharing this with you all particularly is because now at all the public exams, IGCSE, Cambridge edX, all of these basically, they have access arrangement. We call it access arrangement, right? For if you have a psychometric assessment for a child saying that, okay, she or he has this condition, then the psychologist will tell for these children, these sorts of accommodations and modifications need to be provided. Then the exam body will provide it, right? So therefore, suppose it's a child with dyslexia, just because they can't write or read, now they don't have to fail the exam. There is accommodations and modifications going to be given, right? And of course, the monitoring process is also going to be indicated on the IEP. This is just how it's going to look. I went through the components, right? There's a lot of stakeholders who are going to be involved. So if you all have a system where Tutopiya is going to have a referral system, you can all come together. But because y'all are the ones who are going to be interacting with the child, yeah? So y'all have to bring it to note to the management. So psychoeducational assessment is what I said is where the official diagnosis happens. And in that official diagnosis, they will say, okay, there's a specific learning disability, predominantly dyslexia, or there is ADHD. The diagnosis happens. We have the WISC and the VIAT is one of the most common, right? WISC is the Wechsler's Intelligence Scale. It's from the ages 6 to 16. Then we have for ADHD's rating scales, right? Most often, if the child is a little older and if they're going into if they're going into a psychometric assessment after the age of 13, they might even be doing something called the VIAT, which is the achievement test, which is like one step higher than the intelligence scale, right? So it's going to give us a lot of detail like this. I have a whisk sample report attached here. This is going to be, of course, done by the clinical psychologist or the specialist, right? But to get to this point, the tutor has to, or the teacher has to refer. Unless the parent is going to be like, okay, I think something's difficult, my child is having a difficulty, and they will go to that level at once. But ideally, you should have seen this, or you should have been the one to refer the child to the intervention or specialist, and then it goes on to the psychologist, because these things cost a lot. These IQ assessments and things like that cost a lot. And for actual public exam accommodations, the report has to be less than 1 year old. But if there is a history, you have been providing interventions to the child, there has been IEPs maintained, all that is good evidence for the convincing team. I mean, to convince the team, because just because you have a psychometric assessment, they might not necessarily give the accommodations. So if you all have been maintaining history files with IEPs and evidence and things like that, it's a lot more easier for the student. So that's all from me for now, right? So yes, what do you guys have to ask me?
I just have only one question. What is the sort of percentage we find in ADHD cases out of like, if I have 100 students, I'm teaching 100 students. So what is the basic percentage I can expect that like ADHD students?
You can't necessarily put a number like that. Like, you can't be like every class is going to have 10% children with ADHD. No, you can't say that. I mean, you never know. You might have like a class full of just, the cream, the layer who's like, everybody's great. Then you might have the group which has a lot. I mean, if I were to discuss that, like we go on to something called the RTI framework. You have to look at a classroom in 3 tiers. But we can't say you're definitely going to have 3% of your children who's going to be
Understood.
ADHD like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Team, if anyone has any questions, you can put forward.
Hi, actually, I have one question.
Yeah.
Is it possible that the child is not showing symptoms, but like whatever images of brain you showed, something like that is happening in a child? Just for the curiosity, I'm asking. If a child
Not
is not showing the symptom, that is a good thing. If it is not showing a symptom, that's not a problem. But still, is it a possibility that the same chemical things are going in the brain, but still the child is able to manage it anyhow, or very less symptoms are appearing?
Okay. So basically, it's like how overt the symptoms are, right? So the thing is this, all these situations become evident when they are in this general classroom curriculum setup, right? When they are not introduced to the general classroom curriculum setup, they are going to be fine. They're going to seem fine.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
when you give them to read age appropriate, all these education systems have come up with strategies like, okay, at grade 3, you're supposed to be reading 70 words correct per minute. Like, they've come up with norms. Yeah. So when you expect the child to do that and they're not doing it, that's probably when you'll see. So if you never expose them to such conditions, they may even have the disability in them, but it might not be evident.
Okay. Thank you.
Like, for example, also also adding over there now, in the Sri Lankan context, we have students with dyslexia who are easily identified in the English language, but not necessarily Sinhalese, because Sinhalese is phonetic anyway. But they have the function. So they are going to be able to read.
Yeah. Because there are some kids in my relation. They feel the same thing. Like I can identify now that as you told that some are having handwriting problems. They find it difficult. Writing is very poor, and that's not improving with the age as they are going to the, grade after grade, the writing is not improving or something. Like the child is very good in the maths, even you like the dates and the calendars. You speak up one child, that you speak up the date and he will tell you the day of any year. And I think that is a big calculation. Nobody can do that immediately within few seconds.
Yeah.
So I was just, for the curiosity, I was asking.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
hope I was able
thank
to answer the question.
Yeah, it was quite interesting and very clear also. Thank you.
So, yes, as Dr. Hemlata said, the session was quite interesting, and we definitely got to learn a lot of new things and new strategies that should be applied while handling students with disabilities. So, definitely, we'll be sharing the resources and the recording as well with the entire team, so that everyone can, benefit from such great training. And I thank Heza a lot. Thank you so much, Heza. And if we have any questions after sharing the resources and the recording, I'll definitely put it forward to you, so that we can resolve the questions of our tutors. We can also have situation based queries and everything, so I'll put it forward to you as well.
Yes. And in addition to that, you guys can follow me on social media, well, my personal or my page. And in addition to that, just do not hesitate to write to me anytime on the email or WhatsApp with regard to such situations. Yeah. So because I am an educational therapist cum consultant, I cannot diagnose, but I can encourage or help you all with coming up with tools to screen and potentially identify at-risk children and then guide them to the necessary referral system. So, I mean, that is what's going to be expected of you all at this level of at this stage of supporting these children. All right, guys.
Thank you, Haiza, for this lovely session. It was a very engaging session, and like almost the number of candidate who joined this call, they stays at the end of the call, like 90% attendance we have. So it was very engaging. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you then. So that's the end of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just going to read.
Take care.
Bye-bye.